Hello learners, based on the comment which I have received for my last video, which I have taught in the language Tamil, I am teaching the same topic in English. First, what is a T-beam? Anything in the shape of T section will not become a T-beam. A T section, a T shaped slab and beam combination, which can be called as a T beam, which should satisfy the following two conditions. So, one is the slab and the beam both should be constructed monolithically, that is, it should be constructed as a single structural member, not like a slab or not like a beam separately. The slab and the beam should be constructed monolithically such that these two act as a single structural member, in which the beam portion act as web and the slab portion act as flange. So, that is why it is called as flanged beams. It is also called as flanged beams because the slab portion will act as flange and the beam portion will act as web. So, a T section in which slab and beam are constructed monolithically as a single structural member, that is one condition. And the second one is the slab should act as a compression member, that is the important one. The slab portion should act as a compression member, then only it will be called as a T beam. If the beam is supposed to have compression and the slab is supposed to have tension, then it won't be called as T beam. It will be a rectangular beam and a slab as a separate structural members. So, I repeat again, a T beam is a T section or RCC section, a T shaped RCC section in which I am specifying two conditions. One is slab and beam are constructed monolithically as a single structural member. The slab act as flange for this beam and the beam portion will act as web. And the second condition is the slab is going to take only the compressive force, it should not take the tensile force. If it is taking tensile force means then it is a normal rectangular beam and a one way or two way slab. If you want to design it as a T beam, the second condition is the slab should take only the compressive force, not the tensile force, and the web portion will get the tensile force. If these two conditions, one is the slab and beam are constructed monolithically as a single structural member, number one. The second one is the slab portion, the flange portion will get the compressive force and the web portion will get the tensile force. Only if these two conditions are satisfied, then that structural member can be designed as a T beam. Otherwise, it is not a T beam. We have to design it as a one way or two way slab and a rectangular beam. Okay, and there are three conditions. One is the neutral axis for this RCC section is going to pass through the slab portion, that is within the flange. The neutral axis lies within the flange. So, that is one case. The other case is the neutral axis lies exactly at the junction of flange and the web. The third case is the neutral axis going to lie in the web portion of the T beam. If the neutral axis lies here, it is another case. Then the neutral axis lies exactly here. This one is also another case. So, case 1, 2, 3. There are three cases for designing a T beam. For the case 1, you can design directly as what is the procedure you have followed for rectangular beam. The same procedure you can follow. But for case 2 and case 3, we have to follow the provisions given in the IS 456-2000 IS code book. So, based on the codal provisions, we have to proceed with the design process. For case 1, we can follow the same rectangular beam analysis and design procedure we can follow for the T beam design also. It is a similar procedure. So only difference is we are going to take df will be there, depth of flange, effective depth will be from here to here. This is the change between rectangular beam and the T-beam only if the neutral axis lies within the flange of the T-beam, and if the neutral axis lies exactly at the junction of web and the flange, then it is a different case. We have to follow a different procedure. Then for case 3, the neutral axis lies within the web, this also follows a different design procedure. And I like to explain with a few examples which can be considered as T-beam and which cannot be considered as a T-beam. First one, if there is a continuous beam in a room, that is, in a room you are having a slab over there, 3 supports are there. In this case, your bending moment diagram will be like this, that is, you will be getting tension at the top, then in the midspan tension at the bottom of the structural member, then at the support tension at the top, then midspan tension at the bottom, then at the junction it will be 0. So in this case, if you are providing a T-beam here, that is considering the slab as a flange and the beam as a web portion, in that case here you are getting tension at the slab location, here compression, here tension, here compression. In these two places we can consider this as we can consider the slab and beam design as a T-beam design in these locations alone, but in the junctions we cannot consider it as a T-beam. And one issue is that you cannot provide a different sizes for the structural members in a single location. That is, if you are providing a beam like this for few distance, one depth, then later on you are providing another depth, after that your depth is going to increase, after that you are decreasing the beam depth. This is not possible. So in this location depth will be more, in this location you can reduce the depth because it is a T-beam, in this location rectangular beam, in this location you can design this as a T-beam. So for this bending moment diagram, if you are going to design as a T-beam and rectangular beam, it will be like this. Due to the change in depth of the beam, we cannot follow the procedure of T-beam design for this entire span. So that's why we are following the rectangular design procedures for continuous beams. So uniform depth of beam we have to provide. That's why we are not following T-beam design for these cases. So we are going to provide a rectangular beam and we are going to design as a singly reinforced or doubly reinforced rectangular beam for this type of structures, that is continuous beams. Next, another one is a cantilever beam. In a cantilever beam, if you are going to apply a load, means you will be getting a tension stress over the slab, and compressive stress will be below the neutral axis. So web portion will be getting compression and slab portion will be getting tension. So this case also we cannot use as T-beam. So we are going to design it as a cantilever beam, which is singly reinforced rectangular beam or a doubly reinforced rectangular beam, and which can be considered as a T-beam. See here, just a simple support. In a simply supported, in simple supports, you are providing a slab and beam. In these cases, you will be getting a compression in the flange portion, tension in the web portion. For these cases, you can design it as a T-beam, not a rectangular beam. Why we are preferring T-beam to a rectangular beam? Because a rectangular beam will be getting more depth for a beam. If you design it as a T-beam, the slab portion is going to contribute some compression zone to your structural member. So in a rectangular beam, you will be getting compression zone and tension zone. Compression zone, tension zone. If you are providing a slab, if you are including the slab in the compression zone, means then this is going to contribute to the compression zone. So you can reduce the depth of the beam, so which is not included for design purpose. That is the tension zone we are not going to consider for in a concrete section. So that's why you can reduce the depth of the beam so that construction cost will also get reduced. So that's why we are preferring T beam to rectangular beams. So rectangular beam, you are getting you are having a compression zone in the beam portion itself and tension zone in the beam, but in case of T beam, the slab is going to contribute some compression zone. So that's why you can reduce the depth of the beam in order to reduce cost of construction, and you can reduce cost of material to be used. So that's why we are using a T beam. So in these cases, for simple support, you are just applying a load, the slab is going to take compression, the beam is going to take tension. In these cases, you can consider a design as a T beam design compared to a rectangular beam. Next, this one, this is called L beam. Both the T beam and L beam both are called as flanged beams. So in T beam you will be getting both sides flanges. This one is web, you will be getting flange on both sides of the web. In L beam you will be getting flanges in one side of the web, the other side it won't be there. So that is a T section and L section. So in this section, the condition is that slab and beam should be constructed as a single structural member. Second one is slab is going to take the compressive force and web is going to take the tensile force. So L shape, for example, sunshade. If you are having a lintel cum sunshade, in that portion you are providing a beam, L beam like this. So while applying load or due to the dead load of the slab itself, whatever it may be, the slab is going to bend like this. So you will be getting compression at the slab portion, tension at the web portion. So that's why this type of beam is also designed as flanged beams, that is L beam. The same design procedure is followed for L beam also. So difference is calculating the breadth of flange will be vary for this one. So in this case, simply supported, for simple support you can design a beam which is monolithically constructed with the slab as a T beam. Then for lintel cum sunshade, an example, for this case also you can construct a slab and beam as a monolithic structure, and you can follow the design procedure for L beam. So both the cases are flanged beams. So, but for cantilever beam which is having beam at the top and slab over it, it cannot be considered as a T beam. It can be considered as a cantilever beam which is designed as a RCC rectangular beam section. Then for continuous beam also you cannot design it as a T beam. You have to follow the rectangular beam design. So these two are rectangular beam designs. This one is flanged beams. These two are flanged beams. So that's all about T beam. What is a T beam I have explained. I have repeat. Both slab and beam, we are going to construct them as a monolithic single structural member, in which the slab will contribute to the compression zone and web will contribute to the tension zone. So why we are using a T beam compared to a rectangular beam means, since the slab is going to contribute to the compression zone, we can save this area. The compression zone we are going to consider in a rectangular slab, that zone is going to be replaced by the slab itself. For rectangular beam also you are going to construct a slab over this. This slab is a separate structure, this beam is a separate RCC section. So if you are designing these two members as a monolithic one, in that case you are going to save this area so that the overall depth of the beam can be reduced, which in turn will save the material volume you are going to consume to construct the structure. For economical purpose we are following the T beam design in case of rectangular beams. In all the cases we cannot use T beams. For example, in a continuous beam we cannot use a T beam. For a cantilever beam we cannot design it as a T beam. But if it is a simple support with a single beam over there, we can design it as a flanged beam, or a sunshade which is having a web then flanges in a shape of a L section. In that case, if you are getting a compression at the slab portion, then you can design it as a flanged beam. This is just an example. I am not telling that this is the only case you can use for T-beam. We can have many cases. So, in a room, this portion can be designed as a T-beam. Instead of this, these and all will be a rectangular beam, because it will be having tension at the supports, tension at the slab area at the supports. So, this we cannot design as a T-beam. In this portion, if you are having a simple support, that is 0 bm, in that case you can go for a T-beam design in this area. Or you are providing a sheet roofing, in that you are going to, not sheet roofing, it will not be a slab. You are just going to provide a veranda. In that you can provide, instead of framed structure, you can go for load bearing structure, so that you can provide simple supports and you can provide a beam which you can consider it as a T-beam. So, the only thing you have to consider is the slab and beam to be constructed monolithically, and the second one is the slab should contribute as compression zone for the structural member. That's all. If both the conditions are satisfied, in that location you can solidly use this T-beam design to save the excess depth you are providing for compression zone in the beam. That's all. Thank you.